What is up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Got it right this time. You know, you could be anywhere in the world right now, but here you are, right here with me. And I thank you for it. Hope everybody's had a great week so far. We're almost there. So close. But none to worry about. None to worry about. It's all good. The week's going good. Everything good. All good. Let me see why. I'm way down in the corner. Yeah, for sale. Let's go. Let's. How about that? Boom. There we go. Real quick. Copyright disclaimer. Words. Fair use wins. No infringement on copyright. It's criticism. It's commentary. It's educational. It's scholarships. It's to heal the crippled and the blind. Find a cure for cancer. Split an atom. You know, save a tree, plant a tree, whatever you want to call it. Just whatever. So no copyright infringement. Not here. Not on my watch. God forbid. And you had to excuse me also. Last night I stood up because I needed to take a piss. And when I did that, my right knee and whatever ligaments that tore, which I'll find out tomorrow, decided to tear. So I got that going, went to the ER and haven't slept yet. So I'm a little bit tired, but I believe in this consistency that I've been preaching. So here I am. And then tomorrow, find out what we need. Then Wednesday, no, next Tuesday, I'm sorry, we go and get the spinal cord stimulator. First 2-week trial and then the permanent one. So excited. And I don't take painkillers, nothing like that. This is just my nightly medication. So now that we got all that out of the way, let's put some music on. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Why have we not put on any kind of background music? I don't know, cat daddies. Yeah, there we go. Well, I don't know if you guys can hear there or not, but there it is. There we go. So, excuse me. Shout out to 89 Tools, CE Tools Den, Torque Test Channel. They're great. Tinker with Tools, Shop Tool Reviews, Tools and Stuff. That's another real good one. As far as tool channels are concerned, I like that Caleb Ross. I think it's Tool Squatch. He's all right. And then I was watching after I got back from the hospital. Shit, let me take these pills real quick. Turned on the television, watching, and this came to my feed as a short. Some Call Me Al, Small Al, Old Al, So Owls. That's what it was, So Owls. And I'm not there taking any shots at a person I don't know, never met, and don't know anything about. I don't know his background. I don't subscribe to his channel. This just came through the feed. Algorithm thought that it'd be something that I would enjoy. And he had a little short out talking about tools not to buy in 2026, I believe is what it was, or something to that effect. And he had a bunch of tools that he listed off. And, you know, I believe out of all the tools he listed off, and everybody's entitled to their opinion, and it's not, it's a free country, baby. You do what you want to do as long as you don't hurt nobody, nobody get hurt, and we're all good. That's it. That's simple. But anyway, we're not curing cancer here on this show. We're not splitting atoms or doing quadratic equations unless we actually are doing quadratic equations, but that's for testing purposes. Anyway, he's going over the brands to stay away from 2026 and on. And the first one, I think he said, were like your cheap Amazon, no name, fly by night type brands. And with that, I could agree with from a financial business type of outlook standpoint. You're gonna spend money on something that may or may not be available the very next day. So why would you want to do that when you can spend just as much money and get something from someplace else? And there you go. If you have an issue, you'll be able to have it handled, hopefully, where you got it from, which is a whole lot closer than wherever the hell in China it may have come from. So anyway, I agree with him on that. And then he starts talking about Ryobi, and then he starts talking about Hercules Bauer, and then he starts talking about I think the craziest one that he said, he started talking about Hypertough, and he said just throw your money in the trash. Then he started talking about Makita and garbage, and I'm listening to him. And like I said, I don't know this guy. I've never met this guy, talked to this guy, seen any of this guy's shows. Nothing. I got nothing on this guy. So I don't know what he does, what his pedigree is, what his background is, nothing. But I'm listening to what he's saying, and it's a little bit disingenuous because, A, it's your opinion, and like I said, you're entitled to it. But if you truly feel that strongly about it, let's hear out your reasons why. I guess you got a channel and you test things, and another one that came through after that was a short that you made. You've been on YouTube since, I don't know, 2000, whatever, in the early 2000s when it started. That's great. So was I. I got my other channel. You want to go check it out? It's Mad Max's Big Balls Lifestyle. It's the original channel I started. The only reason I started it was because I got hurt. And that was in 2023. Otherwise, the only thing I did with YouTube was listen to music. That's it. I didn't make videos. I didn't care. That's not what I did with it. And so, but he was out here trying to be like, I invented testing and I tested and everybody copies me. I'm like, that's crazy to say, but sounds like your ego's a little bit hurt. And, it shouldn't be because people are going to test. It's not like you're the only person that invented taking a fastener and driving it through wood with a cordless or corded tool. I don't know why you would even think that you should take credit for something like that when that's ridiculous. But anyway, get all bent out of shape about it and whatever. Maybe we're just having a bad day. We all have bad days. God knows I do. So he's talking that, and then, I heard his list of tools to stay away from, with no real reasoning behind it. And then, not really knowing much about this guy, I'm thinking, how much does he know about the tools that he's over here, talking about? I could show you and I could tell you things, which I'm going to share with you right now, that maybe gets back to SOALs, and maybe he could take into consideration that not everybody can afford certain tools, and not everybody can afford Makita. Makita is a very expensive tool, but Makita is designed in a way that is different than a lot of other manufacturers. They are not going to be the most powerful, and they're not going to be the fastest. It's kind of like when you buy a car. When you go buy a car, you're looking for the fastest car, or are you looking for other features that might be important, like comfort, reliability, things like that, fuel economy. Just, if there's any kind of subscriptions you might have to pay with to come with the car that, I might not know about till the bill comes in or something stops working. You feel me? So, um, what I'm getting at is that a rusted bolt, a rusted fastener, something that's been on something for a long time, it doesn't care if it's getting taken off by a Milwaukee, a DeWalt, a Hyper Tough, a Makita, a Rigid, a Greenworks, or anything in between. Clip that. It doesn't care. It doesn't matter as long as it gets the job done. Are certain tools better than others? Sure. Are there any manufacturers that make perfect tools? Absolutely not. Are certain tools overhyped? Yes. Are certain tools overpriced? Absolutely. Now, does it really matter? Not always, no. Because a lot of times you're paying, well, I'll use Snap-on as an example, and I'm not a fan of Snap, and I made this clear many a time. It has nothing to do with their tools necessarily, aside from how expensive they are, but it has more to do with the company and my personal experiences with them as a business owner, not so much a technician. As a technician, I never had a whole lot of issue with them because I always paid. Now, there's guys that didn't pay and don't pay, and they get their stuff taken away. It's called repo. Nothing new. It's been around for a while. But here's the thing. Let me get these facts out of the way. That way, so Al's can get this and maybe understand. First off, Ryobi. Ryobi is number one when it comes to total tool sales in volume in North America. Number one. Okay. Milwaukee is number one in total sales revenue in North America. Number one. Okay. Home Depot is the number one hardware store in America. Okay. Now, the number one hardware store has the number one selling tool by volume. Would that still be a junk tool? Especially since it's owned by the same parent company that has its sister company, Milwaukee? You don't think that there's a sharing and exchange of information there? Okay. All right. All right. Maybe you didn't know that. Maybe you didn't know that. Okay. That's fine. Well, now we can tell him and he can know. You know, if you don't know something, you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. And another quick fact here. The largest manufacturer of tools in the world is an auto parts company. Maybe you've heard of them. They're called Bosch. So the largest tool company in the world is Bosch. The most selling tool, I'm talking electric and cordless, in North America is Ryobi. The highest revenue selling tool in North America is Milwaukee. And Ryobi, of course, is exclusive at Home Depot. Same with Rigid or Emerson Electric, whatever you want to call it. So you got that. And I don't know how the number one selling tool in North America with a platform that's been around for 30 plus years as far as battery goes is a bad tool. I've got plenty of Ryobi stuff, and I'm not going to say they're bad tools. I got plenty of Milwaukee stuff. I'm not going to say they're good tools. They're built and designed for different uses and different purposes. It's about putting the right tool in the right person's hands for completing the right task. It's very simple. You're just you got to understand that the tools that a technician or a mechanic and what a plumber are going to use are going to be different types of tools. Same with an electrician versus a carpenter versus a mason versus a um, your general construction guy, etc. So there's going to be different needs depending on what it is that your trade is. And another thing is the fact that you got OEMs out there like Chevron, for example, which is a huge player in the game. They own Flex, they own Ego, they own Skill, they own, well, it's under their umbrella. They make the Cobalt tools, and Cobalt's interesting because Snap-on's got influence there or had influence there in the past. Their outdoor line is heavily influenced by Greenworks, not Ego, ironically. And I don't know how many of you knew about that, but I would assume that he would probably say that Cobalt is probably junk and then Greenworks is probably junk also. But little did you know that Greenworks is also one of those companies that's completely independent, and they're a big asset and a help to other manufacturers and corporations like steel in their cordless division and helping them expand and grow based on the technology that they have. And I don't know how that's junk. They perform very well in independent testing, and there's a reason that here's another one for you. The largest retailer in the world, the entire world, round earth, not flat earth, clip that, is Walmart. Okay. And regardless how you feel about Walmart, you have to acknowledge the fact that if you have shelf space in Walmart and you are a private brand exclusively made by someone, so Walmart commissioned you to make their tools, in this case Hypertough, and I'll tell you who does it, even though there's no information, confirmed information about it. I'll tell you exactly who makes your tools. And then you got Greenworks, also an independent company with a great reputation, who's been around and is known for their outdoor equipment, but they've had power equipment for nearly as long as they've had outdoor equipment. So they're not just some random company that Walmart found off the street and decided to fill the shelves that TTI left bare when Hart was removed. And Hart was not a new brand. Hart was just rebranded for Walmart. Hart already existed and they'd been around for a long time. And I'm sure that they'll be back and they're still owned by Tektronix. And who knows what will happen to them. Anyway, so Chevron, they make Skill, Flex, they do Cobalt, they do Master Force, which is the house brand of Menards, which also, if you know anything about Master Force and you've used their tools and you've had a chance to experience a lot of other tools, and I'm not saying that this guy hasn't, but they consistently outperform DeWalt and Milwaukee in independent tests all the time, all the time, all the time. But that's neither here nor there. So Chevron has a great reputation. A lot of people go to them. They, do a lot. Like I said, the new Skill stuff they do, Flex, Cobalt, Master Force, Ego. I want to say it works as well. Don't quote me on that one, but I'm fairly confident that I'm correct. And Walmart's money in the trash brand is so Al's called it, is also without being able to completely confirm it, is a brand that is commissioned by Walmart, built for their specifications by Chevron. How could I say that? How could I know that? Well, I've taken the tools apart and I've used the tools, so I'm familiar with the sounds of their motors and how they feel with the materials they use. You just certain things after you use tools and been in the industry long enough, you just know. So that's where I'm at with that. And the other thing about the whole thing about the conversation that he was having to himself was, you're not the authority on anything when it comes to tools. Who are you? I don't know who you are, and I'm nobody. But I know that I own several businesses, and I was in that top 10% of six-figure income for technicians, and was able to do it successfully until I got injured. But anyway, I I don't like when people are disingenuous, and it just felt that way. You want to sit here and, you know, talk trash, talk shit about a brand just because? Nah, I don't do that. And whether or not I have any kind of affiliation with Walmart or Greenworks, which I do, I'm also an eBay ambassador and I have an Amazon affiliate, but I'm not sitting here trying to sell you something that I wouldn't myself use or have used. And I don't put links down to anything or ask you to do anything, but I give that option, especially if it's a product that I believe in. I'll stand behind it. And if you can get something that makes the big dogs look bad for a fraction of the cost and still have some money left over in your pocket to take your wife to dinner, to buy your kids some stuff, get some ice cream with the family after a movie, who knows? There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Judging somebody based on what kind of tools that they have is not the way it's supposed to be. That's not the way it works. That's that's almost like tool racism. Oh God, look at this guy walking in with a Makita. Gross. It's a 111-year-old company started in Japan in 1915. They make precision instruments. You can call them tools all you want. To my knowledge, they still have the strongest 1-inch impact. And, you know, if you go into the 40-volt line, you're getting a product that is not only very precise, very enjoyable and pleasant to use. Yes, it's expensive, but the other thing about it and its other close competitor, KKR or Koki Holdings, Hitachi, HPT, Metabo, HPT, but not the German portion of it, not the Metabo that's still German engineered. I'm talking about the Hitachi portion. Call them that junk. These are the same companies that make bullet trains and nuclear reactors. You don't think they make a good tool? Okay. Uh, you're either lying or you've never used their tools. That's what it comes out. The way it comes out when certain individuals say it or present it. I'm just telling you. And there again, I'm not telling you to go buy anything or do anything. You could be perfectly happy with a $30, Harbor Freight drill or Hyper Tough or, but shit, a damn Ryobi. Doesn't matter. It's whatever works and whatever you need to get the job done correctly, safely, efficiently. That's it. That's all there is. There is no best tool. You could ask tradespeople and they will tell you one thing, and then you ask another tradesperson in the same trade, and they might tell you a whole completely different thing. There are certain things that are universal to a point. I could, say that the majority of people that have ever used any of the Metabo HPT slash Hitachi slash Hikoki nailers would probably say they're amongst some of the best. The same would be said for the trigger on any of their impacts, whether they have any features and control functions or just a variable speed trigger. The same can be said about Makita. Like I said, they're not designed to be the most powerful. They're not designed to be the fastest, but they're designed to be serviceable. You can get manuals, they're readily available online. They come with the Metabo HPT, Hitachi, HPT, Metabo HPT, Hitachi, Hikoki, whatever I'm just calling them Hikoki. It's just easier for me, or I'll call them Hitachi. But like I said, instruction, the manual comes with them, parts breakdown, parts availability, the warranty as long as the tool is still being produced, parts are available, it's a lifetime. Uh, yeah, there's really not much to complain about with the exception of what's allowed here in the North American market as opposed to what's, you know, released throughout the rest of the globe. It would be very nice to be able to have the same type of access as everyone else to the tools. So whether it's the 18 or the 36 volt, honestly, there's not a great deal of difference within its power and specs, but it would be nice to have access to both of them. And like I said, they're, we're talking about nuclear, and, just saying bullet trains and the engineering and technology. People say it's lacking for Makita. It's fallen behind. They don't bring things out to market like they used to. Haven't you ever heard the expression that if it ain't broke, don't fix it? Flip that. If you already have a product that's superior to anybody and everybody else's, it doesn't need to be the fastest and it doesn't need to be the strongest if it's already got the other creature comforts and accoutrements the other products simply don't have. Like I said, trigger wise, between the Makita and the Hitachis or the Hikokis, I couldn't, it's just too close. They're such good tools. And that's coming from a guy that did primarily automotive work, small engine work also, and class 8 and above as far as large trucks, and then of course large equipment, farm equipment, industrial equipment, a lot of different stuff. And I especially liked when I pulled an engine or transmission to rebuild. They were so enjoyable to use, unbelievable. And that's kind of the feeling when I get when I use some of these newer tools like the Hyper Tough. I use that Hyper Tough hydraulic impact probably more than anything else. And you've seen what I got. I'm still waiting on my Hikoki to come in from Japan, but it should be there. $211 for the tool, $112 roughly in tariffs and taxes. It's crazy. And that was on Amazon Japan. If you need to find it, they got it on eBay, but it's a little bit more expensive on eBay. So I don't know. But anyway, not to get carried off and get off in the weeds too much. But yeah, that's my thoughts. And then if you look at tools in general and want to talk about some numbers, you're talking about a $40 billion a year industry, 2/3 of which are going to be dominated by hand tools in way of revenue. So you got a third of it in cordless slash corded power tools, and that's a global number. I believe by 20 mid 2030s in North America, it's going to be close to that 36 million plus mark just here, and that's at steady growth, just under 6%, which has been pretty consistent over the last several years and continues to grow because things continue to need to be built and or repaired, and that's not going to change. That's just the way things go. That's the way we that's the way it's been. That's how things get done, by doing. So pretty simple stuff. But excuse me. So a third of that market, like I said, is cordless, corded electric. And that's in North America or global. I apologize right now, present day. So, in my opinion, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, I encourage you to please leave comments all you want, criticize, like, dislike, whatever you want to do. It's a free world, baby. You do what you got to do, and I'm not going to knock you for it. But if I disagree with you, I'll let you know. And if you disagree with me, let me know. But anyway, back to this. My thought is that a lot of the more recognizable names have priced themselves out of the tool market in that aspect simply because they're not affordable, whether it be the tool or the battery platform itself. And tomorrow we'll do the battery show and I'll explain batteries for you and I will show you battery technology and explain to you why this is a losing battle. It's kind of like the war on drugs. You're never going to win against physics. Physics will always win. Flip that. We are needing a better solution and an alternative because what you have, the more battery cells that you try to pack into a case, the bigger the battery gets. The damn thing looks like a lunchbox in some cases, like that Forge battery. Nobody wants to be the best at carrying around the heaviest tool all day long. That's not the point. Nobody wants that. I don't like going over a 4 amp hour battery on anything that I use, but I also have several batteries, so it's not a big deal. And it's not even the weight. It's just the fact that I don't enjoy the vibration. And after 35 years of doing heavy work, yeah, my body doesn't like it either. So that's why I love the hydraulic impacts. They're very gentle on one's body and one's ears. And you don't understand that when you're younger. You don't care when you're younger. And by no means am I defense. Don't try to use this shit against me and saying that my body just wore out because I worked hard all my life. That has nothing to do with it. I got hurt at work. Still, that hasn't changed. Just like when you fired me on medical leave act, when I showed you that I had temporary disability. I then lost all my benefits and all my, yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. Anyway, so yeah, the market needs more brands like Greenworks, more brands like Skill, more brands like HyperTough that challenge the other brands like your Milwaukee, your DeWalt's, even your Makitas. You know, I'm just being honest with you because this competition is good because it's going to create a more balanced marketplace and way of pricing, or in theory, it should, because more people are buying a product that is less expensive. Other manufacturers, if they're smart, It's better to make $3 than make no dollars profit. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to step over a dollar to make a dime, but you got to take what you can get. And if you're pricing yourself out of the market and you can't keep up with the demand of a Chinese privately owned company named Greenworks that has put out a half-inch full-size impact that Walmart can't keep stocked for $189 that blows away everybody else at this point in time, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. That's not a junk product. That's a quality product. And if you tear one of them apart and you can go on the Torque Test channel, and I believe they did one. And if you ever noticed on some of the channels like Dean Doherty, another great one, Torque Test channel also does this a lot. Uh, when they tear down tools and tear tools apart, you ever notice what tools they're using? Generally, they're Makitas. Why? Because they're that good of a tool. They're a precision instrument. They are a. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to tell you anything's the best tool. I'm not going to tell you anything is the worst tool. The one thing I can't agree with that Mr. Al said is the stuff that you buy on Amazon. That's just as that to me seems to be more of a consumable than anything else, similar to like an inexpensive drill bit. Yeah, it'll work. Just don't expect it to stay sharp for very long, and don't expect it to last very long. But don't be surprised for the price, you know. Whereas Hypertough and Walmart, they're investing money into their new line, and he said something about, I don't care what anybody says or what anybody tells you. Okay, well, easy. Just take it easy, killer. Hypertough has their own specifications. They have their own requirements that they put on the OEM, which we're just going to go ahead and keep it as Chevron until proven otherwise. We're going to go with that. That's my gut feeling. That's my opinion. So I'm 99.9% sure that it's Chevron when it comes to the 20-volt stuff. And when it comes to the 12-volt stuff, same thing. With influences from other OEMs, they design it and tell Chevron what they want, and Chevron comes out with it. And they work great. I can not on my phone because StreamYard hasn't developed that technology for that extra money that they get every month. Clip that to be able to have me show an extra screen like I can on the PC. But the PC right now is a college dorm room storage facility that isn't adequate for me to get to. And then I got another brand new PC that I haven't set up in the garage yet with this whole new torn ligament thing I got going on. I might put a bit of a damper on the time frame that I was expecting, but that's why we had the phone. And then I got this other PC that's loaded with mail from who knows who anymore. Anyway, my point again is this: consumables, not the best tools. Yes, they will work. Yes, you could use them. Just don't have unrealistic expectations. That's not unfair to say or to think. It's just true. Don't have unrealistic expectations. Generally, you always get what you pay for. Good tools, just like good work, isn't cheap. And cheap work, just like cheap tools, generally aren't good. And there are always going to be exceptions, and there are exceptions in way of inexpensive. Here, I'll give you an example. I would take a Hypertough over a Porter cable made by Stanley Works all day long, any day and every day. That would be, if I were to get rid of one brand just because they have no vision and no real direction, I would say that would be Stanley Works. I hate to say it, but I mean, what they didn't do of resurrecting craftsmen, what it, uh, they make great tools. I just don't care for their business model of absorbing as many portfolios and smaller companies. That's not what I would do. I would make better products and make products that are affordable, but that aren't necessarily going to leave you with a position to where they're not very dependable and reliable. Not calling them junk. I'm just saying that the vision for Black and Decker, for Porter Cable, for Boss Stitch, for DeWalt are all different divisions that all have different specifications, that all are different price points for different purposes, different trades for different people. And there's nothing wrong with that either. You didn't mention any of those. I don't know why. And I'm not saying that those are bad tools, or I'm not telling you they're good tools. I'm just saying there are other options. But ultimately, I think that the more you have a chance to use tools and the more tools that you have a chance to use, the more you'll understand what's good and what's bad. Somebody who's been around tools for long enough can pick something up, use it, and tell whether it's good, whether it's bad, etc. And hand tool wise, you got certain entities and groups that make hand tools. Some are better than others. If you want American ones, and you want really good quality, and you think Snap-on's really good, J.H. Williams, you're going to pay a third of the price and get exactly the same thing. Not lying to you. Flip that. J.H. Williams. Paco's another one. You can save a lot of money. Snap-on written all over it. Hand tool wise and pry bar wise, here in Kansas we have Wild Tool in Hiawatha, not too far from where my wife was born, and they make the pry bars for Hyper Tough, amongst many other people. You have Mayhew, of course, as well. Those are the two big ones, and they produce the majority of the pry bars that you're going to find out there, and they're hella good. And Menards, they actually carry quite a bit of the Wild, and that's WILDE tool when they're in Hiawatha, Kansas. Passed them a million times. So they own forge, own metallurgy, just everything. Old school, baby. Old school. No offshore, nothing. Just boom, right in the heart of the country, right here in the Midwest. It's awesome. Maybe next time, if I can, I'd like to, be able to go through and check it out. I think that'd be a real cool video to make, if I can get permission, and maybe like a mobility scooter or even a wheelchair to go through it. If I can get something like that done, I think that'd be really cool. Give everybody an inside look at what that's like, blue collar style. Old school, baby. Old school. Kind of like old Western Forge, which, real nice job, Sears, Stanley, Black and Decker, Stanley Works, whatever you want to call them. I'm probably, if anything, I'm down on Stanley Works the most, simply because they half-ass and or give up and or simply ignore what the consumer wants in a lot of cases. The 12-volt line lacks so much, it's ridiculous. It's like they don't even care or take it serious or want to invest or evolve. But people love 12-volt tools. They love the size and compactness. And, like I said, it's not about fastest or the strongest. Yes, they have very compact 20-volt stuff, sure. But the 12-volt stuff that they do have and they did come out with and it's still available, it's really good stuff. It really is, as far as 12-volt tools go. Skill makes a great 12-volt tool. Size-wise, it's excellent. It's very compact and works really well. It's not overpowered. It's not underpowered. And depending on what it is that you do, then you will be happy with it. Or you can return it and not have to worry about it. Harbor Freight, you already know, you know, you have a warranty, obviously. So if anything goes wrong, walk in, get you another one. Hand tools, lifetime. But, you know, I don't think there's, I don't recall, and I'm not going to say for certain, but consumables like drill bits, things like that, I don't know that, and I'll just have to look at the website and check it out, but I'll have to see what the policy on things of that nature, where items are, and whether or not they still carry that same lifetime warranty. But at the counter exchange for a new product, you know who else does that? That a lot of people don't do? Menards. And the warranty that they have, depending on what tool did you buy your Master Force. I think I don't have, what, 5 years? 5 years, and then 3 years, and 2 years. Yeah, and it's Chevron. And they also have hydraulic impact. They've had one for a long time. Uh, Speaking of hydraulic impact, the nuke line, not going to say anything bad about it. I've only got one nuke product, that being the only one that I really cared to purchase. And that's only because, like I said, yeah, health reasons and everything that goes along with it. It's just a lot easier, especially when you're teaching a young man how to use tools. Start with the hand tools, graduate to your corded tools, graduate to your cordless tools with no speed settings, just variable triggers so you can get a feel for that trigger. Then you go and graduate into your cordless tools with speed settings. So, and he's going into welding school, and all I did was give him welding tips. I never pulled out the welder for multiple reasons, but I wouldn't do it until he is taught. I can tell him, you know, gas mixtures all day long. You want to use 100% CO2 if you want to weld MIG and do exhaust work. If you want to weld stainless, you're going to be 100% argon. You're going to be 100% argon as far as aluminum goes. You can be 85-15 or 80-20 CO2 and argon if you want to make cleaner welds when it comes to exhaust. But if you are a good welder, then CO2 is just fine. It's just about experience and knowledge. I can take it to the exhaust shop, which we have in Independence, the best one in Kansas City, and show you what I mean. Apologize. I'm sorry. I don't mean to. I'm sorry that I'm low energy. I'm not trying to be. It just little this whole pain thing sucks. But besides that, buy the tools that you can afford. There's tools that you might not necessarily, steps and levels. You graduate from one to the other. You don't start out with the best necessarily. You start out from the ground up and work your way up from there. Not everybody can afford the best, especially in this economy, but that's another episode for another day. Excuse me. But for the most part, there's a lot of options that are out there manufacturer wise. It's not like it used to be. Technology certainly has caught up. And back to this battery technology, now that I recall what I was saying, at this point, what they have is a chemical reaction of a lithium ion cell that still produces heat. So, what you're trying to accomplish at this point with battery tech is to limit and or try to lessen, because you're not going to eliminate your internal resistance or your thermal resistance. Okay, because energy creates heat, right? And heat is a form of energy. Clip that. And for a power tool to be able to function and work, you need to have a power source, source of fuel, and you need to be able to have whatever you are using as your, whether it's a 650 or 700, that's where we're at pretty much in technology. You got Samsung, LG, and then you got it starts with a T that makes batteries. But aside from that, there's a very little that has come of the battery technology right now. They've got isolators to keep the batteries further apart. You've got, dielectric grease that they put, they've got vents that they put, they've got a lot of different things that they try and continue to try, but the physics are going to continue to win. So right now it's a battle against physics, and physics has got the lead, fortunately, and that's really not a surprise. So until they can find a efficient fuel other than the lithium ion that we're currently using, because we've alkaline, NiCad, NIMA, to lithium ion, polymer ion, etc. It's just a matter of having the correct chemical reaction between the right elements. So when the flow of electrons from the anode to the cathode are happening through multiple tabs, all right, or multiple entry and exit points. It's not a tabless battery, it's a multi-tab battery. Clip that. It's very misleading in the way that they call it a tabless battery. It's a multi-tab battery. But even then, you still need to be able to have heat dissipation. And, Greenworks, for example, has a great aluminum or aluminum heat sink that helps with the thermal internal heat management. Milwaukee, not the best. Their technology, and especially when it comes to batteries, I'm telling you, nobody wants to hold and carry around the heaviest, biggest battery on the smallest tool. Nobody wants that. It defeats the purpose. Clip that. It's crazy to even think that anybody would want that. And no, I'm not saying Milwaukee's bad tool. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that realistically, that's not conducive to what you want in way of efficiency, getting work done. You don't want to fatigue your arms, your hands till you have to. Lastly, like I said, the rigid nucline, there's no real disappointment or letdown except for my own personal. I'm comparing it to the original Stealth Force, which is a completely different animal. And I'll just, I don't know if anybody's got a video of the two being compared. And I'll make one, obviously not tonight or tomorrow probably, but soon I'll make a video with all these oil impact, hydraulic pulse impact drivers, whatever you want to call them. You'll see the difference, whether it be power, whether it be decibels. And I appreciate Torque Test Channel, clip that, for being honest. And same with Tech Air Tools and a lot of the other channels that have reviewed these. And, these are, the hydraulic stuff, they're great, especially if you want a less harsh experience in your hand with a tool. You just have to have the right amount of balance and the weight. And that's the one area where I think they failed. For a subcompact, it's not that subcompact or light. That's really my only complaint, but it is a bit of a hybrid to where if you're using it as it should be used, it operates a lot like a drill until it gets enough resistance to need to pulsate that hydraulic fluid to cause that. And it doesn't feel bad, but like I said, comparing it to the first one, they're two completely different animals. And a lot of composite, a lot of aluminum on the new one. Old one, totally different. But like I said, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Technology's evolved. I was just expecting something that was going to be a little bit more on that subcompact side, closer to what they came out with their, not their nuke line, but prior to that, their subcompact. And I'm not showing now, but I'll grab it next whenever I can walk around or have somebody try to find it, grab it for me. I can tell exactly where it is, but they'll look around, probably get lost in the garage, and then I'll have to send a search party. And then that search party might get lost, and then I'll have to send another search party. That was humor. Relax. No one's getting lost. But I will say that my legs, I haven't slept. I don't take the pain medication. I don't drink, like I said. I'm looking forward to 8 a.m. So I got, another 11 hours. So hopefully we can get what we need resolved and done. Tuesday, if you could, I will ask you this, if you guys and gals don't mind, say a little prayer for old Max here on the spinal cord stimulator. If you don't mind, I'd appreciate it very much. With that, it would mean a lot to me. And if you want to subscribe, if you want to be part of the growing community, then you know what? Everybody is welcome. Everybody's welcome. Matter of fact, we're going to end the show with one of my favorite things, the Mad Max song, and we'll play a little bit of background stuff here. I'm going to take my pretty face off for a moment, though, so bear with me. I want to find something to play with the Mad Max song. It's baseball season, football season is right around the corner. You know what? I'll just mix it up a little bit. But I want to thank everyone again. It means a great deal to me to be able to come on here with everybody, and anybody and everybody's always welcome on the show. Judgment free. Everybody's good here. No worries. You can disagree with me. I'm not going to get mad at you. I'm not going to ridicule you. And even if I don't agree with you, I'll do it in a way that is not disrespectful. So I thank you all very much. Like I said, thank you for giving me the opportunity to earn and to hopefully keep your viewership. It means a great deal to me. And let's keep this community growing. Let's be interactive. Let's ask questions. Let's get involved in conversations and have some open dialogue. The more we get to know one another, and I don't mean this in a weird way, but the closer the community gets and the better it'll be in way of people having questions and others having answers. Because by no means am I a know-it-all. I have never said that, and I've never claimed that I know anything. That is my claim to fame right there. But, gang, I want you to have a great rest of your evening. I thank you so much for being here tonight. I'm going to take us out of here, land the plane, take her down nice and easy, and let the Mad Max song play. I wish everybody nothing but the best for the rest of the evening. Have a great rest of the week. Say a little prayer for Max. And God bless you. Let's get it. Let's get it.
On Mad Max TV, we talk about it all, from touchdowns to controversies big and small. Come join our community, we're all are welcome. From sports to the mysterious, there's no boredom. Open your mind, embrace the unknown. On Mad Max TV, we talk about it all, from touchdowns to controversies big and small. Come join our community, where all are welcome. From sports to the mysterious, there's no boredom. Open your mind, embrace the unknown. Yeah, on Mad Max TV, we talk about it all, from touchdowns to controversies big and small. Come join our community, we're all are welcome. From sports to the mysterious, there's no boredom. Open your mind, embrace the unknown. Yeah. On Mad Max TV, we talk about it all, from touchdowns to controversies big and small. Come join our community, where all are welcome. From sports to the mysterious, there's no boredom. Open your mind, embrace the unknown. Yeah, on Mad Max TV, we talk about it all, from touchdowns to controversies big and small. Come join our community, where all are welcome. From sports to the mysterious, there's no boredom. Open your mind, embrace the unknown. Yeah. TV, we talk about it all, from touchdowns to controversies big and small. Come join our community, we're all are welcome. From sports to the mysterious, there's no boredom. Open your mind, embrace the unknown. On Mad Max TV, we talk about it all, from touchdowns to controversies big and small. Come join our community, we're all are welcome. Open your mind,